Good morning to you. I'm Al Terzi. Connecticut Governor Jody Rell, as expected, has vetoed the Democratic tax plan. She likes the fact that the gas tax holiday is in there, but doesn't like the tax increases the plan contains. The state, as she says, is expected to have a surplus of at least $800 million when the fiscal year ends at the end of the month. So why do we need any tax increases? How likely is it at this point that budget negotiators are going to be able to reach agreement by the mandatory adjournment on Wednesday? And what about all the other major issues still unresolved at this point as we sit here taping this program on Friday morning, including energy reform and health care? My first guest this morning, the Speaker of the House, State Representative James A. Amon, Democrat of Milford, and State Senator John McKinney, Republican of Fairfield, the Senate Minority Leader pro tempore. Thank you both for coming in.
Thanks, Al.
Okay, let's talk about the income tax. Why, Speaker Amon, are we insisting on having a progressive tax structure that would make the wealthier people pay more? Why does anybody have to pay more?
Well, you know, that was a question I had way back in February when the governor basically blew through the spending cap at $500 million, decided to raise taxes on everybody across the board, including increasing bus fare for our most frail residents, talking about cigarettes taxes when we were in a surplus. I asked the same question. So we said if the governor wanted to have that spending plan of hers to go forward, $3.4 billion in education, something that she would like to have a legacy on. I understand that. But in reality, what we said once that was on the table, we felt that we wanted to give as many people a tax break. I keep on hearing about the tax increase. Nobody's talking about the 95% of the citizens who get a tax break.
There's some quibbling about the 95%.
There's no quibbling.
It's 58%.
Yeah, well, you know, that's let me just answer
Isn't it, Senator? 58%?
Oh, it's not even close.
Yeah.
In fact, just so the
Oh, my
Speaker
Lord.
has it,
There
I
you go.
brought the letter from the Office
Oh,
of
my
Fiscal
Lord.
Analysis.
Oh, my gosh.
And Jimmy, you can have it.
You know, I
love you, but this is the nonpartisan Office of Fiscal
Right,
Analysis who said that the Democrat tax
Right.
package comes nowhere close to offering the
Right,
tax breaks
right.
that they promised. They've been saying, and you've been saying,
Well,
Jimmy, for
58%
months.
isn't bad.
Yeah, thank you,
Well,
Al. Al, you know,
but you got to look at the numbers. You got to look at the
numbers. You know what I did with that
numbers.
last night? I put it on the board where I put all the other Republican board. I stick that on the wall because we put it on the wall of
Well,
shame.
look,
so let me just answer a question here. We have the same fiscal analysis. Fiscal analysis said 95% of people get a tax break. What they did was they played with phony numbers. They said, well, these first 37% actually don't count because they don't pay taxes. They don't have income they're paying taxes on. We have an earned income tax.
Earned income tax credit has taken the other 37. So what do you say to that?
That's not even close. We have an OLR report that shows in 2004 there were 10% of the people in the state of Connecticut who filed and got the federal earned income tax credit. It's 10%. It's not 37%. And Jimmy, your tax plan raises $730 million in new taxes. How can a $730 million tax increase be a tax cut?
Senator McKinney is whistling by the graveyard because they are so fearful, and they got themselves on the record voting against tax cuts for 95% of the people. They want to continue to dive on the sword for the rich of the rich. I understand that's the people he represents. They didn't want to do anything for the blind, nothing for nursing homes. They didn't want to do anything for the most frail elderly that we have in the state. We gave pure tax cuts from fiscal analysis too. What do we have? 2 offices of fiscal analysis, one for you and one for us?
Oh, and they said yesterday, listen,
Liars,
Jimmy.
you know, figures lie, and liars like to figure or whatever kind of things you like to throw on the table to kind of finagle the bagel. OFA, 95%, doubling the tax from $500 to $1,000, $31 million more for municipalities. This is a great plan for the state of Connecticut. And also what they have now, when we gave them a chance to vote for their gas tax, they blinked. That was their day of destiny, and they decided not to do that either.
Oh, stop it. That's just political theater. And listen, that's
you
why,
voted no.
Jimmy, that's why,
that's
why nothing's gotten
you
done.
Voted no
because
on the gas tax,
we're engaging in the political rhetoric. You came out when we said, let's give people a break at the pumps.
Lead.
Jimmy, you came out when we said, let's give people a break at the pumps. You said that's a terrible idea. You even said we were aiding the terrorists if we voted for it.
It's absolutely
a week
true.
later, you come out and you say, let's cut the tax.
It's the most appeasing
It's not
tax I've ever seen.
a wimpy thing.
If you didn't like it, why is it in this plan?
That's a good point. It's not a wimpy thing,
Let me
Jimmy.
tell you why,
The people are hitting every day. The people are getting hit every day with the highest gas prices in the country.
You know, Senator,
we need to give them some help.
You should be ashamed of yourself. You know better than half the colleagues up there that it's a phony gas tax that does not put any savings in anybody's pocket. You were with me with Senator Smith and Senator Yanukovych and myself and Carl Chisholm. We did it a few years ago with Governor Rowland. You know what happened. That money disappeared. You know you do not control the oil companies, Mr.
Well, look,
McKinney.
we
you
don't,
have
we
no
don't,
control.
but the Attorney
It is
General has
absolutely
said,
a waste of
has said
You said the
$120
money
million.
disappeared. The money disappeared. How did it disappear?
$120 million, because we do not control the big oil companies. They ate up the profits. You have nothing to do with the wholesalers. You can't control what's at the pumps. Once you have that 25 cents that's reduced, the wholesalers and the rest of them, they can make those profits. He can't control it. We can't control it. They did it back in the early 90s. They took the profit right off. Within 2 weeks, it disappeared. Since they did the proposal, gas has gone up 13%. Excuse me, 13 cents.
Look, we have a letter from
And the
500 gas stations who will guarantee
sure.
that the price will come down 25 cents at the pump immediately
A gas
upon
station
passage.
retail.
The gas station owners, the
A
guys
retail
selling the
retail.
gas, Jimmy,
Well,
are telling the price is
what do
coming
we want
down.
here on the gas tax? Do we
Al,
want some
Al.
guarantee that they'll never
Al.
increase
No,
prices?
Al. Yes, we
This
do,
is
and
a
we can do that.
retailer, Al.
No, Jimmy,
A
stop
retailer,
filibustering.
he's talking
Stop
about-
filibustering, Jimmy.
He's
Listen,
talking about retailers.
Hold on, Speaker, let
Retailers
me-
do not control the
Stop
wholesale
filibustering.
prices.
Let me-
Al, we
let
have
me hear
a
from
$900 million budget surplus. We've overtaxed the people of the state of Connecticut, $900 million. We had $1 billion
governor's
surplus
leave.
last year.
At the governor's leave,
Jimmy,
Chief.
it's not your money. It's not government's money. It's the people's money.
Oh
We should
my
give
God.
that
That's
money
why-
back to
and
them.
that's why we're
And they're
cutting
feeling the pain at the pumps.
95% of the
You
people
are
in
not,
tax
Jimmy.
cut.
That is such a
wanna
lie.
give-
Stop with the propaganda. Stop it.
All right, so if we're going to give the money back, and this is the gas tax thing that is going to cost the state $120 million.
It's not going to cost the state. It's the people's money. We're giving it back
Well,
to
it's
them.
lost revenue, right? When
It's
we-
revenue that we've
Okay.
overtaxed.
All
Let's
right.
give it back to them.
So then
That's
where else
exactly what we're doing.
where
These
else
guys
do
don't
we
wanna
give
give
money back?
anything
How
back.
else do we give money back to people for the overtaxing that led to this $800 million
Well,
surplus?
the first thing we ought to do is we ought to be realistic on our spending side. The Speaker talks about the tax package that he's put together. The reason why his tax package increases taxes $730 million. Yes, they provide tax relief to some people, not 95%, Jimmy. Yes, there is some tax relief, but it's an overall tax increase of $730 million. Why? Because they have to support a 10.5% spending increase. That's not a lie number, Jimmy. That's a fact. 10.5% spending increases. People all over the state of Connecticut reject that number. There are 140 towns in the state of Connecticut that are adopting municipal budgets with spending increases at 6% or less. It's outrageous that the state of Connecticut would increase spending 10.5%.
All right, 70% of the people say they want a progressive income tax. The truth is, no matter what he keeps on barking about, which is total farce. 95% of the people get a tax break under our plan from Office of Fiscal Analysis. They want to play with the figures. Let's go with their 58%. So what the senator is saying, that not even 58% of the people need a tax break. If it's 58 or 95, why don't you support the plan? And by the way, the
well,
governor...
58% get a tax break, but the other people are paying
No,
more.
Al,
Absolutely,
95
absolutely.
get 95
Jimmy,
get it.
you're increasing
You're
the tax on
filibustering.
food.
You're
You're increasing
filibustering
the
now.
tax
I
on
let
clothes.
you talk,
Excuse me.
Senator. I allowed you to
Go
finish.
ahead,
So
go ahead.
let's start working like we
All
are
right.
as good friends, because we are. What I'm trying to tell you is 95% get the tax break. We doubled the tax credit from $500 to $1,000. We gave $31 million more to municipalities. We have health care that we need to take care of. We took care of our hospitals we want to pay for. We want to make sure there's a good health care bill. We want to make sure there's nursing home. If they don't want to take care of those things, they should stand up and say it now. The governor has a 7% increase. We have a 10.5% increase. We've said to the governor for 4 weeks now we'd be flexible on the spending side. That's not unusual to be that apart on spending. We always come together for 2 years. We've done it in the past. We said we'd be flexible on the progressive income tax. And yes, we said you want a gas tax? Instead of doing petitions out there, Governor, about 11,000 people want a gas tax relief. Instead of being in the room having budget negotiations, then let's put it up on the board. That was their day of destiny. They voted no. They're on record voting no for the gas tax, but they'll keep on trying to go out there saying that they're
All
the
right, let's,
champions for the poor.
Ring the bell on round one, and we'll continue our discussion with Speaker Amon and Senate Minority Leader Pro Tem McKinney about what we should expect in these waning hours of the legislative session. You're watching Face the State on Channel 3.